Welcome back to another video. So in this video I'm going to talk about 5 good things, 5 reasons why you want to be a software engineer from a software engineer's perspective. And I've read an article this morning about 8 reasons why you want to be a software developer or software engineer. And one of them, like I think 7th or 8th reason would probably resonate me the most, which was about number 1 thing for me, which was constant learning and growth. So every day as a software engineer, like you go to work, show up, you see that table, desktop, and the laptop, and the monitor, and something you don't know, so you look up on Google, like you do Google research, right? And then, for example, today I looked up, like basically reading the documentations of some technologies and platforms, like let's say computer networking. So I was reading a lot of articles and documentation pages, tutorials, or comparison between this and that. For example, TCP/IP or IP tables or route table. Okay, so we all learn as a computer science students. We learned computer networking in university, bachelor degree, but we have so many things to learn, and not all the stuff that we learn from classes and courses don't necessarily apply to what we do on a daily basis. For example, I was doing software developer before, so I was doing more with Java, Android, C#, C++, computer, software development. I didn't really do much of like Linux or Unix system scripting or computer networking, like kind of really low level stuff. Like maybe if you worked in like router or computer networking company, then or CPU, graphic, GPU, kind of operating system programming, then you would have probably experienced with C, C++, and bit manipulation, or even like low level data manipulation in a computer networking as well. But I was more of like an abstract layers, like in Java. Didn't really deal with pointers, didn't really deal with C or C++. So 2 years fast forward, now I'm kind of like a cloud DevOps, where I deal with software architecture, infrastructure, networking, load balancer, routes, firewalls, IP tables, packet filtering, setting up like a virtual private cloud, which is like AWS terminology, VPC. So stuff like that. On the go, you encounter, like you run into some new stuff and you need to learn. So you don't reading technology blogs or documentation, and then you come across some few keywords, terminologies that you're not really familiar with, or you forgot about it, and you need to refresh your memory. So that's what I did past weekends. I did read up on Linux commands, like let's say ipconfig is a pretty basic one, but like grabbing the IP address of the particular network interface. For example, you can do this is a pretty specific example, but I was doing like ipconfig pipe grep in an Ethernet 0. Then you can get the exact line where it shows IP address from IP or ifconfig, or like IP table, route table, default gateways functionality, what else? Subnet masks, subnet, TCP/IP layer, network layer, data link layer, those TCP/IP model or OSI model, other stuff, like a lot of stuff. But basically, if you're a software engineer, then you just sign up for the long haul, for this constant life learning kind of a job, which keeps me awake at work, which is really good, and also makes me feel good because I feel like I'm growing every day. I'm learning new stuff, as opposed to like I used to be a networking specialist, where I was doing troubleshooting with computer networking, like router, switches and hubs, kind of like DHCP, DNS, firewalls and stuff. And those kind of tasks are more routine based, or I would say kind of same things over and over again. So there's no kind of really room to explore my creativity or problem solving. I mean, like, didn't really have any room for me to apply problem solving skills to different kind of problems because I was dealing with the same kind of issues over and over again as a technical support technician. Whereas right now, I'm kind of like dealing with. I have an option to pick kind of projects that I want to work on. So if this technology or tech stacks interests me, then I can express that interest, and then I can talk with project manager or like my manager, so that I can work on something that's more aligned with my interest. For example, I was really more interested in Java development and Android mobile application development 3 years ago, so I did that, and then move on to like next job. I also did a backend Java development and also started like exploring or like expanding my comfort zone to outside of just backend Java development, but also kind of a DevOps or cloud computing like AWS or Kubernetes, OpenShift, all those stuff like really hot ones like Docker, containerization and CI/CD pipeline, DevOps. All those like really buzzwords right now. So and then I expanded my skills in a comfort zone and get like hands-on experience, because really cool thing about computer science or software engineering is you get hands-on experience. It's not just theoretical research, which is more to do with computer scientists, but software engineering is more to do with actual hands-on with actual applications or technologies, platforms, real-world industry software. So kind of digress quite a bit, but learning new thing every day really excites me, because that should be really process oriented as opposed to it's really process oriented as opposed to external fact oriented. So it can be your lifelong goal to feel good, feel motivated, feel happy because you're learning, and you never achieve that goal because it's a constant thing, right? Second thing that I like about software engineers, of course everybody's going to talk about it, but from economic standpoint, yes, compensation wise, financially, it's one of the most well-paid jobs out there. So I'll just leave at that. You can do research on Glassdoor for average compensation salary levels for many companies. It's pretty easy to find out how much you get paid as a full-time or even intern student. So that's the second point. Third point is you have an option, not necessarily you are entitled to, but you have an option to work from home, like remotely. You have a flexibility workplace, like a location and a time. So for example, previous company, let's say, they allowed work from home option maybe once or twice, once a week, or maybe once in 2 weeks, right? Maybe you need to go see doctor, you have appointment. Maybe you have kids, you need to pick up kids morning or afternoon. So it's pretty flexible depending on the company. Current company that I'm working at right now, they allow once a week of work from home, no question asked, and also they also allow me to allocate time, what time I want to work on. So as long as I put like 40 hours a week, then they don't really necessarily care about what time window that I put my work in. So we could, what that means is some people do like, they take like a Monday off or like a Friday off, and instead they do 4 days a week of 10 hours a day. So 10 hours times 4 days, 40 hours, as opposed to 5 days, 8 hours. So that's great, because sometimes you might take a vacation on long weekends, maybe just normal weekend, but you want to take Friday off so that you can have an extra 1 day for allocated for vacation. So what you do is like 4 days work, 10 hours, and then Friday take a day off, not quite day off, but in that way you have control over your schedules and your lifestyle in vacation, which is really great. And if you push the boundary even further, then you can even go like half remote or even full-time remote, where you don't even need to come to the office. Maybe you just do like online Skype meeting, stand up every day, and then maybe once in a while, maybe once in 3 months, or maybe once in in a half a year, they fly you out for a company like team building event to kick off the new quarter or whatnot. But there are quite a bit of remote jobs out there for software engineers and stuff, because all we need really is good communication skills, good problem solving skills, engineering skills, and also just a computer and a Wi-Fi internet. So it's really great because it allows us to be really flexible and be able to, basically as soon as we are hooked up to the internet and we have a computer, then we can do everything online because it's software. It's intangible thing. We are not dealing with hardware, or we are not dealing with physical engineering. So that's really great things about software engineer, the potential to be able to work remote. Fourth point, to just recap so far. First point is the constant learning, always stimulating my brain. Second one is economic, financial benefit. And the third one is remote, being able to work, like flexible work option. And the fourth one, this might be or might not be interesting to you, but for me, it was like I wanted to understand something abstract and complex. So when I was doing network technician, obviously everybody was using like Windows most of the time, the enterprise, but I didn't know how Windows worked, the behind the scene. What is it like? We take everything for granted. For example, like iPhone or Android, or maybe something simple, maybe like a camera. How does this camera process like photos and videos? Or like how does computer visions and AI work? There's so many technologies out there. It's almost crazy to not deal with technologies every single day. But at the same time, it's so easy to forget about how far we have come so far, like how much technological advancements we have made in the past few years, maybe 5 years. And it's so easy to get caught up with, the new features and stuff, and then forget about what actually went inside, like research and development. And I really wanted to understand that. And then back then, 2010, the Google Chrome was coming out, like in a few years before, and the Chrome was super fast, and the Internet Explorer sucked big time, and the Windows slow, blah blah blah, and Amazon, iPhone 3, remember those good time. I was like, how do these stuff work? How is it possible that some people can understand this complex, really abstract stuff, and I can't understand it? It's so far away from my reality, but at the same time, people use those devices and software just like, normal stuff. And then this knowledge gap made me feel kind of uncomfortable, because I feel like I should be able to understand stuff, but it seems so like far-fetched from my reality, and I really wanted to understand. And then when I thought, if I can understand something like this, that would be super cool, like Windows OS, or how does Google Chrome browser work, and why is it so fast and faster than Internet Explorer? That kind of curiosity spiked, motivated me to study computer science. And I was just riding the trend of like technological booming, like economically, and also by a social trend, social economic factor wise. The social economic factor was everybody was being absorbed and influenced by technology past 10 years, right? Think about Google, YouTube, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, AirBnB, auto-driving car, Uber, everything. Almost every single thing that we use right now, business, that the way we communicate is dictated by technologies out there, and it will be dictated by technology, because we're gonna have more AI, machine learning, more cloud, more scalability, more worldwide connectivity, and the internet. So that's the thing that really motivated me to study computer science and do a software engineering field as opposed to networking, because it has ability to scale up, and it was like just crazy. I knew that was the future, and back then I remember, and I still feel like it's still going to be the future. It's crazy how I was able to catch on a trend in the beginning, and then still after 10 years, 9 years after, still trend is just, going even stronger. It's almost like amplifying. It's a great time right now to get into, otherwise it might be too late. Maybe after 5 years, maybe it might be too late. So that was the fourth thing, just abstraction thinking, and then it applies to life as well. Being able to think about things in the abstract term is really helpful because it allows you to think in long term. It allows you to think in personal finance, investing, saving, or maybe emotional management, how society works, all that kind of stuff. So fifth thing I really like about software engineering, software development, is something to build. Now this is something that I didn't really think about until maybe a few years into computer science major degree, a bachelor degree. But okay, simple example, you can build iPhone or an Android application, like mobile app, and you can publish it to the App Store, and the people using it, and you can probably make some money off of advertisement. What's cool is that you can control a little buttons and some functionalities, like even simple like to-do list app or like note-taking app. You build some stuff, you put some creativity, you have some creativity juice going on, and you can design stuff in the front end and also back end for efficiency, scalability, security, and all that stuff. You can think a lot and design and architect your application or software programs, and that's really fun for me. I like flexibility. I like to keep my creativity going. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to switch from network technician specialist to software, because I have a creativity to tackle different kind of problems, and that's really interesting to me. It's really fun for me. I like to build something, kind of like if you like DIY, do it yourself kind of stuff. You like the process of decorating a new apartment. That's probably more relatable to you. But you move into a new house and you like to decorate your room on your own color, right? And then set up, furnitures in this positioning and all that stuff. You're basically designing your room. You're designing your life. You're designing your schedule for summer vacation. When you take a trip, it's not just going there. It starts from designing and planning, and then you start accumulating the excitement. Same for decoration. You go through Amazon to buy some stuff, decorate ornaments. From there, experience is starting. Same with software. Software just doesn't start from coding, right? It starts from designing, requirement gathering, and also think about testing, how to think about scalability, availability, security, how to deploy, CI/CD, all sorts of stuff. There are a lot of pieces to put into in a big picture, and I really like that. It's not just simple; it's more complex than big picture. And I really like big picture, and also like to build stuff. I like the process, and then final product you might feel accomplished because wow, I just created this Android app. That's cool. I used to see so many apps, software programs, right? You probably see Notepad for Windows, or maybe calendar, Gmail app, but you never knew, you never had an understanding of how to create those apps. It looks it seems so close because you use it every single day, but yet it's so far away from your reality because you've never done that. And once you do that, make some sample projects, personal projects to create some program to fetch files, dump, or you can parse Google search results, top 10 results from top 5 pages, stuff like that. You just create a program, it works, and the computer do something. For me, it's kind of exciting. I can do so much. Basically, if you become a software engineer, you are enabling yourself to do so much more by using the help of computer power resources, which is really great. It's kind of like, let's see, we have 10 hands, 10 fingers, and 2 eyes. we have only so much time to focus on some stuff. Computational power in our brains is limited, but using a computer we can do so much more. Maybe you can look at so much more information on the internet. We can spin up maybe 10 servers on the AWS cloud and then process so much more, like videos, images, process them, and then analyze data and then come with some cool kind of data analytics or machine learning algorithm, stuff like that. It's a whole different way of thinking. It's kind of like shifting away from the reality, because you're shifting your time dimension from now to maybe future. Because when you think about availability and scalability, you're putting focus on the future axis, not the present time. So that's like abstraction. If you're living in a small village in a small island, and if you're doing kind of like hunter and gathering kind of thing, you only think about every single day. You just think about tomorrow. You don't think about 1 year after. So it's not really scalable, right? If you're living in a small village like that, then what if natural disaster hits? Then you don't have enough, storage for food, because you're thinking about, you're basically living paycheck by paycheck, but like fishing food, picking some foods every single day, but you're not prepared for the next month or 2 months after. So education there would be really tough, because you're thinking more in the present time. Maybe that makes you happier, right? So there's just definitely complexity in it. There's some, complexity that we need to deal with, because as a human being, we need to be present to feel happy at the same time. If you don't think about future in the long term, then you probably don't understand the concept for like investment or education, front loading some stuff for the future. So it's really difficult topic. So it'll be another video. So I'll stop here. But those are 5 reasons why I think the benefits of software engineering as a software engineer's perspective. Hopefully you got some insights, bits and pieces of what I feel as a software developer, software engineer's perspective. I've been doing this for almost 5 years education plus 4 years professional, so 9 years. It gets easy and easy. Beginning is the hardest, but I'll tell you, you might not like it, you might like it, but I would say this is a way of living, I would say for sure. Being able to understand technological literacy is quite important these days. And if you don't have that, you're not going to be able to really, I would say, differentiate yourself from other people. Because look at other fields. Let's say, I'm not gonna talk shit about other fields, but let's see the facts. If you study medicine, or if you study laws, if you study business economics, they're already oversupplied. Everybody study those really traditional conventional majors, and they're not really direct reflection of the current age where we need the most. Our demand and supply changes over the time, right? Adaptation is really important. Studying technology makes you become more aware of social change, because technology moves super fast compared to computer science and software engineering to hardware engineering, like building bridge. The technique to build a bridge has been established for past 100, maybe a few hundred years. It hasn't changed that much. Computer science and software, it's been changing every single year, right? That's how fast it moves. And also, traditional educational system like an elementary school, university even, are not keeping up with current society's changes. So instead of them teaching like traditional, not really unemployable skills, like let's say, I would say, classic Japanese, I would say, it's not gonna help you find a job. And of course, education is not just for employability, of course, but I would say they are not really preparing students and kids to be practical and useful in workforce. That's what I would tell my kids, future kids, if I were parents. Anyways, thank you guys for watching that. If you find any thoughts, or wanted to talk about something in terms of what I said in this video, comment below to let me know. If you have any questions, also you can comment in this video. Otherwise, I'll catch you next video. Give me a suggestion about videos as well. Alright, see you guys next time. Bye bye.